Hello, world. We are live at 5 at Broadway.com. It is Friday, November 9th, and I'm Paul Wontorek.
And I'm Ryan Lee Gilbert.
And who's over there? Special guest, Eric King, in the hot seat.
Yeah.
And another
Speaking of special guests,
fantastic guest,
Yes.
Mr. Andy Karl of Broadway's Pretty Woman, is here.
Oh.
We know you love him. So do we.
As do we.
Before we get to today's big news, let's just get some information out there. So tomorrow, Network starts.
Network begins previews.
Very exciting.
Bryan
Cranston
Yeah,
back
Ivo
on
Van
Broadway.
Hove directing.
Can't wait to see
very
that one.
exciting.
Also, Mike Birbiglia's The New One opens on Sunday.
The Court Theater. Very exciting.
And I guarantee that'll end up on Netflix.
Absolutely. As they all do.
What King Kong opened
King
last
Kong
night. And so there's
opened.
all sorts of King Kong stuff.
Yeah, red carpet challenge, portraits, photo gallery,
Yeah.
opening night video.
On the
very
site.
cool.
So
Yeah.
check all that out. But let's do today's top 5.
Well, this news is hard to report, but I'll say it somehow.
All right. So, in case you're
Sure.
confused, the light in the Piazza is headed to the UK, and we have some very exciting people joining that cast. Renee Fleming recently got a Tony nomination, of course, for her performance in Carousel last season, and Dove Cameron, Emmy Award winner Dove Cameron.
What?
Did you know that she had an Emmy Award?
For
it's
Livin'
not
Maddie?
It's for Livin' Maddie. If it's not for Hairspray Live, where she should have gotten
I
an
never
Emmy
thought I would
Award.
hear those two names together.
Renee Fleming and Dove Cameron? No, but here they are. They are playing Margaret and Clara, of course, in The Light in the Piazza. It will be the London premiere of that musical, which seems like it took a while, but that's very exciting.
Really? London premiere?
Right? Exactly. It will be staged by Olivier Award winner Daniel Evans, who's a performer himself. Now he's directing. And it will be performed at South Bank Center's Royal Festival Hall for only 20 performances. It will begin on June 14th, and it will play through July 5th of 2019. We don't know anyone else in the cast yet.
You know what
That's
I
it.
just realized? You know who is the perfect combination of Renee Fleming and Dove Cameron?
Who?
Kristen Chenoweth.
You're absolutely
Right?
right.
Think
Yes,
about
but-
it.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you put the DNA of those two
Right.
people-
Yes, you just mixed them together.
You
they
know
would
who
be-
co-starred on Broadway with Kristen Chenoweth? Mr. Andy Karl.
Of
He's here
course
today.
he did.
We're going to get to him.
Yes.
First, more exciting news.
Yes, so this other musical's UK premiere is also on its way.
Well, let's just talk about American shows going to the London. Let's do that.
Absolutely. You
That's
can
what
borrow
happens. A lot of
these.
London news comes out
Yeah.
on Friday. I don't know if
It
people
does. It does.
knew that, but
That's-
that's a
absolutely.
thing. Violet.
Biz.
You love Violet.
I loved Violet. Yeah,
Oh,
Violet.
you
No,
specifically.
truly,
I was talking to
truly,
them,
yeah,
but
yeah,
you
well,
really love
dude, I
Violet. This is
truly
Janine
love
Tesori, Brian Crowley's musical, which Sutton Foster, of course,
Yep.
did on Broadway with Joshua
Absolutely.
Henry and Colin Donnell. I first fell in love with it when Lauren Ward did it
That's
off
right.
Broadway. OG. OG. Anyway, they're doing it in London at the Charing Cross Theatre. Shantaro Fujita will direct the show, and it starts January 14th. It's a 12-week run. We don't know who's in it, but it's a fun show about
Yeah.
a girl with a scar.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
And it's not Harry Potter. This theater legend is celebrating his birthday in style.
Ian McKellen, who is turning 80 years old, will be celebrating his 80th birthday
By binging something on
by
Netflix.
binging something on Netflix. No, he is going to 80 different venues across, you guessed it, the UK. He will be going everywhere. The show is called Ian McKellen on Stage. It will be directed by Seth Mathias, and it will begin January 25th, 2019 at the Space in London, and it will conclude in September 15th at the National's Olivier Theatre. That's a long
There's
time.
that many venues?
January 25th through to September 15th, 80 different venues across the UK.
Is that including, is he doing like bookstores and gay
Living
bars? What's he
rooms,
doing?
yeah.
I mean,
He's just going anywhere that will welcome him. He'll
everyone
go.
would welcome him.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, he is a Tony winner for Amadeus. He has 6 Olivier Awards: Richard
Whoa.
III, Wild Honey, Bent, The Alchemist, and Pillars of the Community. And of course, he was recently seen on the West End in King Lear.
And most important credit of all, he will be, what's he doing next? It says it right here.
Oh, of course, he's doing Cats. He's doing the Cats movie.
That
Yes.
weird Cats movie that we can't figure out.
That is most important credit to date.
Hey, did they cast the Rum Tum Tugger yet?
For
They
the
did.
movie?
They did.
Sorry, Andy Karl.
Oh.
Cannot take on that role again.
But That wild movie. I can't wait. But yeah, before he does that, he's going on an 80-venue tour. Good for you, Wade McKellen.
And this City Center Gala's staging cast recording got a release date.
Kind of told the whole story.
The
there.
most exciting stories are always release dates for recordings. And now I'm going to tell you about one. So they did Brigadoon at City Center. Kelly O'Hara was in it, Patrick Wilson, and Stephanie J. Block, and who, by the way, was on Broadway with Andy Karl. Andy Karl's like the
Andy Karl
he's one of those
is the 6 degrees
of separation.
Instead of Kevin Bacon on Broadway, it's Andy Karl.
Yeah. It was directed and choreographed by Christopher Wheeldon, although you won't be able to tell that from listening to the album.
No,
but it's
that's
still
just
important
a
information.
factoid for you.
And there's talk actually that it might come to Broadway at some point. So that's still buzzing. Anyway, I'm getting to the point that the album is dropping, as Lerner and Lowe albums do, on December 7th.
And Broadway audiences may soon be saying, "Please, sir, may I have some more?"
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
So a director our guest Andy Karl knows, Jerry
Literally,
Mitchell.
Andy Karl is the nucleus of all news.
Jerry Mitchell. So a little while back, he directed a workshop presentation of this new musical called Becoming Nancy. It is based off of Terry Ronald's best-selling YA novel, which I didn't know. That's
Which
very
stands for
interesting.
young adult.
Which stands for young adult,
For anyone over
exactly.
40.
It's based off of, it has something to do with Oliver. Essentially. So basically
It's
it
a boy
follows
cast as Nancy.
a boy plays Nancy in his school's production of Oliver and the friendship he develops with the football player classmate Bill Sykes. Look at that.
I'm going to
Sounds
call
a
it
little
Kinky Elliot or Billy Boots.
Billy Boots. I
Billy
love it.
Elliot meets Kinky Boots
Yes.
with some Jerry Mitchell
Yeah,
flair
absolutely,
as always.
absolutely.
I'm curious about it.
I know it sounds really. The score comes from Mary Poppins' George Stiles and Anthony Drew, and it's aiming for a Broadway premiere in the 2019-2020 season.
That's pretty soon.
It's very soon. Yeah, that's the next season. Yeah,
they better book a theater then.
They get to work, Jerry Mitchell. Yeah, absolutely.
He's
Very
always
exciting.
working.
He is. He's
Hey,
always
Ryan,
working.
you have
Yeah.
a nice weekend.
Thank you so much, Paul. You do as well.
Hey, Eric, tell us more about Mr. Andy Karl.
Sure thing. Andy Karl is currently starring in Pretty Woman the Musical on Broadway. He earned Tony nominations for his leading roles in Rocky, On the 20th Century, and Groundhog Day. His other Broadway credits include Legally Blonde, Wicked, The Mystery of Edwin Drood, Jersey Boys 9 to 5, Saturday Night Fever, and The Wedding Singer. His screen credits include a recurring role on Law & Order SVU. Follow him on social media at Andy_Karl. And leave all your questions in the comments below. Please welcome Andy and Paul.
Hello, Mr. Karl.
Hello, Mr. Montori.
How you doing?
I'm good.
It's so good to see you.
So good to see you.
How's
too.
the Broadway? I like when you're on the. Your hair, by the way, is looking really
Yours
perfect.
too. I
Well, that's
take all my
everybody.
hair stylings from you. I look at you and then I'm like,
It looks
maybe they're
really. It
next.
looks really good.
Thanks. No, it's very rainy out today. So
Yes,
My
it's
hair
a
is just
rainy
a
New York
mess.
day. It's getting cold out, but you are living in the sun of LA, right? I mean, Pretty
Yeah,
Woman.
yeah,
It's
the Pretty
all
Woman.
LA. It's like a California musical.
But yeah, you can tell by the tan. Yes, it all takes place in Los Angeles, from Hollywood Boulevard to Beverly Hills.
Yep. And how's it going? You having fun?
It's going great. Audiences are loving it.
I know.
You know,
audiences love it.
And every night I find something new to like sort of invest myself in. Last night I saw a couple, they were like fourth row back, and it was like a date night. The guy had his arm around his girl and they were watching their favorite story. And I just like, my heart like grew 10 times bigger. And I was like, I'm doing this for you guys. I'm falling in love tonight for you. So I think it's just like, I love those audiences that are coming to revisit, you know, that story, but then they're getting something special with all this music by Mr. Bryan Adams and Jim Valance.
Yeah, it really seems like a show of the people, because you're right. This is so beloved, this title. And I remember when I saw an early preview of it, the audience was like packed with all these women. You could tell they were like and women together and date nights, women who brought their husbands. And it really is like there's a real connection to a title like this.
Get the girls together and have a drink and come see the show. It's when I saw in Chicago, that was kind of the audience I saw as well.
You started as an audience member
As an
to
audience
see
member
your
watching
wife.
it, loved the show. Saw my wife in the show, and I was like, "Oh, this is fantastic! It's gonna be great." Then all of a sudden, come like a month or two later, I'm in it. So yeah, it's the audiences are definitely fans of the movie and want to hear and want to see the necklace and the dress and the tuxedos. So life ain't too bad. I wear a tux every night.
What is it like doing those iconic moments? Like you have to do the necklace moment every night. and Samantha Barks, your lovely leading
Yes,
lady.
Samantha Barks.
She obviously people come in with expectations about and they come in obviously knowing Richard Gere, Julia Roberts, but I feel like that sort of dissolves pretty quickly.
Yeah, well, what I love about the movie is there's such a chemistry between Richard Gere and Julia Roberts. I was like, if I can do something like that with Samantha, where we just look like we're having a good time on stage, then that's half of the work that I have to do will be there. If the chemistry's there, it's all great. So we met and just like hit it off and having a great time. So that's what I think works well for the show. Everything else is sort of like, I mean, when I watched the movie, I've seen the movie a million times, and then I realized we have to do all the stuff that was some of the stuff that's in the movie, like the necklace bit and all that kind of stuff. I was like, you push back because you're like, I want to create my own thing. But I've really sort of embraced all that stuff, and I love snapping the necklace on her hand.
Don't try to reinvent
and
it.
I actually I get a kick out of it now. So and that's the thing. If I'm enjoying it, I'm sure the audience is too. So embrace it. But really, it is all about love, and it's all about romance, and finding out what you can, take down the walls of your heart and open them up and become, fall in love, and that's what we do every night. So, and audiences are just on their feet.
One of my favorite sequences in the show is the opera scene, which is really creatively, you know what I mean? I really feel like that's such a creative moment where you're singing, and then who's the opera singer?
Alison Blackwell.
Fantastic.
Right? She's fantastic.
She's so fantastic.
She's a secret weapon, and
like totally like full out opera.
And Brian Callie, who's also sings the opera with
right,
her.
and then
from
it's
La Traviata,
and you're singing like a Bryan Adams pop song,
Yeah.
and then it's all the way it's all blended together is really cool, and sort of like a really beautiful theatrical moment. So that's a great example of obviously everyone knew you were going to take Sam Barks to the opera when they walk in,
right?
But then they kind of get this Jerry Mitchell invention of this cool moment.
I think Jerry's like one of his fortes is transitions from one thing to the next.
King of transitions.
He really is for theater, and that's
he
hard to
keeps
do.
it's the cinematic flow.
Of
a show.
It's hard to do. You have to. The music has to be right. It has to blend into the thing. The staging has to be creatively work that way. And man, the opera scene is one of the best examples of that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, absolutely. Also, there's this sidekick. I say that with a lot of love. Character Kit DeLuca.
Kit DeLuca.
That Kit DeLuca.
You know her, you love her.
Played by your wife Orfe, who has been here, of course, Live at 5. And that's another character that sort of she also gets to do a lot of, and then Eric Anderson's roles. It's sort of a reinvention. So it is fun to see how the writers have expanded on what maybe people walk in expecting.
Yeah, I mean, you have to put a movie into a linear space now for theater. How are you going to do that? And transitions of character are going to be important. A lot of wigs and hats and glasses and all that kind of stuff, but. I think the secret weapons of our show are our cast.
Yeah.
Like Samantha's tremendous. My wife Orfe is tearing down the walls. Eric is just a great character actor.
Ripping off the roof and tearing down the walls.
Yeah.
So the seats are and the stage are left every night. And then they rebuild
Exactly.
They rebuild the
They're
theater
gonna
every
have to
morning. Check it out. It's on 41st. It's
rebuild.
really cool how they do that so quickly.
We're taking donations. So this cast is tremendous, and I'm not just saying that. I'm like, my God, these people are extremely talented, and I'm glad to be a part of it.
You also know a lot about doing, and everyone says this, but musicals based on movies.
I know. I'm not only the nucleus to like every actor on Broadway. I'm also the nucleus to every movie that's ever been made.
It's kind of. It's kind of crazy.
It's
I first saw
sad.
you
It's
in
coming
Saturday Night
sad.
Fever.
Yes.
That was an early one. Let's see, what else have you done? Well, I mean, we could just get to obviously the big ones. You were Rocky in Rocky. Congratulations on that Tony nomination.
Legally Blonde with Jerry Mitchell.
And you like doubled the size of your body, I believe, for Rocky.
Yeah, lifting weights and all that kind of stuff. Man, that's like it's hard work. Broadway's hard, guys, and it's really hard when you have to like work at it.
Maybe a smaller role, but people love Kyle the UPS guy.
Yeah.
Do you want to do that line for them?
Oh, sure. Well, do we have a? Oh, I have a package. Never mind. I've got a package. Oh, this camera? Camera 1, camera 2, camera 1, camera 2, camera 1. I've got a package for all of you people at Live at 5. Have a super day.
We've been waiting for that. Thank you. Thank you so much for that.
Of course.
Let's see what other movies. 9 to 5.
Oh man,
That one
yeah,
happened.
That was great.
Groundhog Day.
Groundhog Day. That was last year.
That was amazing. I know that's your
My
heart,
love for
right?
that show,
Groundhog
yeah.
Day's your heart.
It's well, yeah.
That was like a real
It was
special.
like everything that I have locked up in the box of Andy Karl's tricks is on. It was in Groundhog Day, so
Yeah.
it was special.
Yeah, so you do know of this skill of putting a popular title on a stage and making it
Yeah,
work.
and there's some that are like the band's visit. Not many people know the movie,
Right.
and they're discovering it for the first time in a musical almost. But then you have Pretty Woman, which is this huge title that pretty much everybody on Earth has seen. When people say they haven't seen it before, I'm just like, what's wrong with you?
Yeah.
And Groundhog Day, another one that was like
Yeah.
it's on heavy rotation on television and that kind of stuff. So it's really, you have to deal with the popularity of
Yeah.
one movie and
Yeah.
what you can do with it and how you're going to change it and how you're going to create special moments to make it different than the movie or embrace the movie in some way. I think Pretty Woman really embraces a lot of the movie, but I think that's for the benefit of this show. You have those things. It's like, drinking your favorite glass of champagne, and you're like, oh, I love that moment. And then
Right.
we give you this opera scene that's like,
Yeah.
oh my God, this is amazing. So I really, it's a special show in that way. And people are loving it. So.
You are, and like you mentioned Bryan Adams, and I know that was very exciting for you to get to work with him.
Yeah, that was nuts. I was like, my first time seeing him was recording the song that we pre-released, You and I, which is the opera song.
Yeah.
First time I met him was in the studio, and he's like sitting where you are, and just like we're just going over lines and how he wants it sung this way. I'm like, I'm singing with Bryan Adams right now. This is pretty cool. Does everybody hear this? Are we recording this? This is pretty amazing. And it turned out great. The album is out now as well.
The album's
and it is
fantastic.
just fantastic. It's what I find really interesting about this is that because Bryan Adams was producing this album as well, he took the time to make it to have the sound that he loves, and so you hear his stylings within this album, and it's like you could pop it in the car, and it's not like a soundtrack, it's like an album.
Okay, can I just tell you, it's funny you said that because the day it
Was it in
came
your
out,
car?
I was on a road trip. I was actually driving, and I was like, oh, the Pretty Woman album's out. I'm going to listen to it. And it was such good car music.
Yeah, it's great.
love a good car
it's
album.
Great. It's definitely an album you can like listen to vacuuming your house or something.
Rodeo Drive, baby. No, you also have, I didn't quite do the Orphe voice on that. I could.
Who
anyway.
can, really?
You also, I know you've been a writer too. I want to talk about the Ozblog because you did Ozblog.
Yeah, you guys gave me a camera and a lot
when
of
he was in
time.
Wicked, you were Fiyero, of course, because then he also was in every long-running show. He was Jersey Boys and Wicked. Yeah, he's done a lot. You did a vlog for us, and you wrote like an original song every week.
Yeah.
Most people don't do that.
I
that's-
just started writing, like today was the first day I got back to writing a song because I just sort of like put it all to the side because I was, just getting in the show real
busy
quick.
learning a major Broadway
Yeah,
role.
and it was kind of like, I don't know, like where's my creative juices? And they finally, I drank some today and I started writing. It was it's not a real happy song, but
Okay.
I was taking all my bitterness and putting it out there, and I'm actually happier for it today.
And I also, and of course, Bustle Fluffer too. Look that up.
Yeah.
Now Samantha Barks knows what that is too. But that's also a very important creative. So my point of bringing this up is that you actually have you have these skills. Have you thought about like writing? Is that something that's still interesting to you? Like
Always,
like
yeah. I've got, a chest full of, songs for certain projects, certain things that I think would be great musicals. And I went to BMI for a couple of years writing, and so it's in there. I've been acting so much in these musicals.
It's true.
No,
And TV.
I sort of put the energy is in my acting part of life, and so writing is sort of like people don't see that on me, but somewhere, someday it'll happen.
Right. After you lose your looks. Law and Order SVU is on all the time now. Like I feel like your episode, you're always on TV.
Yeah, it was.
That's the cool thing about doing Law and Order.
which
Like
is
it lives
great.
on like in such a major way.
Yeah, I was the character the first part of the precinct, the guys who were actually on the squad, I got killed, which has never happened on that show.
Spoiler for anyone who's still
Yeah.
catching up on the old episodes.
Exactly. If I'm, they're all. Don't put down Broadway.com and just go watch some SVU. Get caught up. It's season 17. Yeah, so it was.
Season
I'm sort of like a
17.
Jeopardy question as far as Law and Order goes, but it was kind of iconic. And I talked to Warren Light, who was the showrunner for the show, and also wrote that episode where I died. And he's coming out. They're writing a new Law and Order spin-off on hate crimes right now. I was like, what do you think? Could I come back to life or something? And he's like, no, it's too iconic. It's that episode actually ended up being very iconic for Law and Order. So bringing you back would be too difficult.
It's not a soap opera. They can't just
it's not
be
like
he didn't die.
So,
or like Dallas. We were in the shower. Bobby was in the shower.
Yeah.
That's an old reference.
Bobby's in the show.
I'm showing my age. Hey, Eric.
Hey.
Are there any questions from the fans? watching?
Yes. Okay, so as we were saying, Bryan Adams helped write the music for Pretty Woman. Is there another
wrote the
music?
well, yeah, with Jim
Right,
Valance,
with Jim
right?
Valance. I wanted
Sorry,
to.
yes.
Is there any other musician you'd love or you'd like to try a hand at writing a musical score? Any other musician that you like that hasn't created a musical?
Oh God, you know what? The Punch Brothers. You guys know the Punch Brothers? They're bluegrass, and they're sort of jazzy bluegrass. I think that would their sound, and I know what movie I would love for them to write a musical to.
Oh.
What is it?
No, don't make him because
Should I
somebody
do
was
it?
saying the
I wanna
idea this is live TV. Don't make him.
Or shit, because I kind of want to write it with them. I'm like,
Oh,
let me
okay.
be, but
Yeah.
they're going to be way better at it. But the Punch Brothers, I think, could write a great score to Raising Arizona.
Oh.
It's and I just have like my brain is like I'm twisting and turning. like, yes, if they wrote this song, so
That's a fun movie. Coen Brothers.
Yep.
Yeah, awesome.
Someone would like to know, do you and your wife or Faye do vocal warm-ups together? If so, what does it sound like?
No,
You know,
we do not warm up together. I warm up a lot more than she does because she's just naturally gifted that way. She does. I mean, she'll do what and that'll be it. And she's ready to go, and she'll tear down the walls, as we said. It takes me a lot longer to get to just making a little sounds out on stage. So no, we do not warm up together, but we live together, and that's.
But what? So
that's
what is
enough.
it like when you're actually doing a show together? I know you've done this before, and you're in different dressing rooms, obviously. But the Needlegator is a very small, backstage theater. How much are you like hanging out, and what's the interaction like in 2 show days? And like I don't know, what's it like? Like I'm assuming you travel to the theater together. And,
Oh yeah, totally. We travel to and from this show, and
are you sick of each other? That's what I'm trying to ask.
Well, no, no. We the thing about it is we never see each other on stage,
Right.
So we never actually spend any time working together. We see each other backstage.
She does see you making love to Sam Barks on the
I
piano
know, isn't
from
that
the wings.
weird?
That
But
does happen.
8 shows a week, making love to somebody gets a little tired. You know what I'm saying?
So yes, you're not on stage together. So I guess that's your time off.
Yeah, at work, it's like we don't actually see each other until I like drop by our dressing room at intermission or something like that,
Right.
and then in between shows on a double show day. So we're not actually working together; we're just working in the same show together,
that's
which is
funny, yeah.
interesting. But it's way better on the schedule for being a married couple to actually work together, because if I'm doing a show or she's doing a show, we just never see each other because the schedules are completely.
Of course. Yeah.
someone would like to know, what is your favorite Legally Blonde memory or a moment that happened?
There's so many, but it was, again, working with my wife was amazing, and we had a couple of scenes together, and it's
Very
great to know
memorable
that like
scenes.
the two of us can crack up an audience on stage, and I was like, this is special, like when we're picking up dogs and I'm saying I've got a package, and she's dropping styluses and knocking me in the nose. I'm like, the Lunts. We're like the Lunts.
Isn't it cool how many? I know Orphe, when she was here, she talked about how many kids at the stage door are like Legally Blonde. Everyone does Legally Blonde, like that show.
Everybody does. High schools, like middle schools, are doing Legally
It's
Blonde.
like the show. So isn't that crazy?
Which I think is weird. There's a couple of like awkward, not adult moments in
Right.
Legally Blonde. So
Right.
I'm wondering, like, how did they get around that? But I've seen some pretty great pictures of UPS guys. Like you sent me one.
I did send you one. Hi, Emilio. Yeah.
And dog costumes of Kyle the UPS guy.
Oh yeah, I actually put my dog in a UPS outfit that Samantha Barks gave us.
A lot of people are secreting or suggesting or asking about whether or not you do Groundhog Day, the musical, the movie.
That'd be a great idea.
I'm in. I like it.
No, it's a truly special show. I think what's so great is what Matthew Warchus and Tim and everybody did was make such a special theatrical live experience for that show.
Yep.
It progresses as the show, the first act and the second act progress into this person, you're finding out who they are and how everything works. It's kind of like, what's special about it is it's not edited, it's live, and how the transitions happen and how he gets to the next day and the next day. It's I'm like slamming a door and then blackout for 2 seconds. I go behind the door and I come back out again. It's the next day, which it was clever in that way where audiences were enjoying how it was done live.
Yes.
that.
I still don't know how you did some of it. Like, I think you,
Yeah.
I
We had a
believe you're a
magician.
shapeshifter. I'm pretty sure after seeing Groundhog, or that you like can somehow move your body from one side of the stage to the other. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, we had a
It was
magician
crazy. You
that
got
did a lot of
electrocuted.
those.
You died. Like,
tricks,
it was nuts. Good show.
great show.
I think this is a good one to end on, and it's, what would a dinner party be like with all the characters that you played? So should we go through them?
Can you name all your Broadway characters? I mean, I'm sure. you can.
Probably, but we'd be here. It would be like the Last Supper, just like Kyle the UPS guy pouring wine. And who would be at the center? I wonder who would be like in the middle. Probably Phil Cox.
Yeah, probably Phil at the end. The enlightened Phil.
Enlightened Phil. Yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody should paint that actually.
Oh
Get
my
to work,
God!
Photosh-
that would be
Photoshoppers on Twitter.
amazing.
Somebody put some artwork and make it good. Don't make it like stick figures. Make it like you can tell the characters, but all at the Last Supper, and
I'm really into that.
yeah, be good.
Use hashtag live at 5.
Oh, Mr. Andy Karl, thank you so much for coming by. It's always a pleasure.
Always a pleasure.
You guys have to go see Pretty Woman if you haven't already. It's at the Niederlander Theater, and Andy Karl's fantastic as always. I mean, it's Andy Karl. I mean, like you've now developed a reputation that
Who would
like
be Judas?
you're like a solid you're like a solid Broadway product now. Like if you know Andy Karl's name is on the marquee, you're in good hands with Andy
right.
Karl.
Just get the T-shirt.
Thank you, sir. Hey, Eric, why don't you take us out?
Sure thing. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We are live at 5 on Facebook every single day. If you like to listen to us in a podcast form, you can do that. And you can go wherever you get your podcasts and search hashtag live at 5 and make sure you hit that subscribe button. Tune in tomorrow when we talk to playwright Jocelyn Bayo about school. Tune in Monday when we talk to playwright Jocelyn Bayo about Schoolgirls or the African Mew Girls play.